Hello. What's up? We're the We3Kingz Podcast. It's your boy Black Summer with my co-host Pharaoh
Yep.
and my man Hope Mikey.
Yes, sir. We here.
It's gonna be a kind of simple podcast today. Nothing too crazy. Just update some information. Talk about our thoughts on our favorite game, NBA 2K.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, boy. Turn up. You got to turn up for this game.
All right, so let's go ahead and kick right into it. What y'all want to talk about? Cause we have, we want to talk about a little updates, or y'all want to talk about the state of the game first?
I might as well just get the updates out the way. What's new with 2K23?
All right, so y'all probably seen YouTube videos and other podcasts on it, so we'll try to cut straight into it. We got new jump shots, we got new dunking animations, we got new layup animation, new badges. So each of us, we're going to talk about something a little different. I'll kick us off with, let's see what we got. I'm going to start off with the dunking, since it's interesting to me. So as y'all know, in NBA 2K22, they introduced the time dunks, where you kind of force your player to go for a dunk that he normally wouldn't get if you just use the square or the X, depending on what system you play on. So now they've introduced what is called pro stick control, because anyone who's done the stick, especially on a wide open dunk attempt, knows about just random dunks that you may get. So I kind of like it. They said, okay, so I'm reading off the thing. They're saying if you use the pro stick up, you just do a two-hand dunk. Pro stick to the right, you'll do a strong hand dunk. To the left, a weak hand. Down is a rim hang. And here's where I find interesting. If you do up, you get a flashy two-hand dunk. Down, up, flashy one hand. Up, down, you get a normal skill dunk with meter. And then you do down, that's a rim hang skill dunk with meter. What y'all think about the 4 new dunk ads, like dunk animations that they've added? With the down, up, the up, down, and the down.
It's definitely gonna put a skill gap in the game. I believe now. So it's a lot. There's a lot of things that you can have skill gaps in them, but with the adding of this, like it's gonna be the person who masters this is gonna be crazy on the court. Let's be real.
Yeah, it would be.
That's one thing we know for sure.
Yeah. They added, up, or down, up. They added two motion system to dunking. It's probably going to be like the more high risk, high reward dunks. It would make sense that would be the case. They as far as that goes, they said that you would have a bigger takeover meter. You would get more points to it if you pull off that. Yeah, if you pull it off, you would get that.
That reminds me of y'all remember back in the day on 2K they had the highlight film badge. So like the highlight film badge is just implemented into the game like completely, rather than just be a badge that you could just equip.
I want to say they had it in 22.
He's talking about the badge. Like that's like 12, 13.
Oh,
yeah, that was a while back. See, that was back in PS3, man.
No, I remember them having. I think in 2K21 it was I have to look, but it might have been like highlight something. Like when you get a dunk, what it does is it boosts your team's takeover. It's something.
Oh no, I know. I think I know. I know what badge you're talking about. Whoa.
Yep. I mean, yeah, and it's crazy to see that. So now, instead of it, they made it and they took it out of it being a badge, and they was like, well, let's just make it a part of the game in general. And I like that. I like them doing things like that, because like certain, like when a person slamming in real life, they dunk on somebody in real life, the whole crowd gonna turn up. Even if you your team got dunked on. You like, the dunks normally hype everybody up. It's rare you find somebody dunk and the person don't get hyped up. Yeah, that's
Well, the opposite team might get morale taken from them a little bit. They get dunked on.
yeah, that too, man. That's crazy.
But I do like the aspect of not making it a badge because then it's just one less thing you have to. I don't say waste, but you have to waste your badge points on. You just go out there and go hoop. Boost. And then you get a reward for pulling off something crazy. I like the idea. Just the execution of it will be questionable. Because 2K has this catch-22. I don't call it catch-22, but they have this issue of having a good idea but actually implementing it being a problem. Like when you read through the defense, the offense, the stop and span dribbles, creating more authentic shooting, everything sounds good. And then the question is how well do they implement it? Because in the last, I want to say 4 2Ks, defense was fantastic in the beginning. Maybe a little overpowered. They turned it down a little bit, but it got so bad that where defenders, you pretty much had to make a pure defender to actually be able to play defense against somebody.
Yeah, I mean, the way I was thinking about it, really, like I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, I mean, in the NBA when LeBron and them get going, it's really like even sometimes the best defense you play on them, he still might, he's still hitting the shots on you, still getting the dunks on you. So like, it's some great defenders in the league, but I mean, the league right now is heavily offense. Steve, man, that's how I feel about it. It's heavy on the offense.
I mean, a lot of leagues in general are kind of quote unquote heavy on offense because that's what's gonna get butts and seats.
Slam dunks, deep threes, and ones, all of that is good. It's good entertainment.
Yep. I also wanted to. I'm worried about 2K with the shooting. Because I actually started to really enjoy, I created a new build, and I really started to really enjoy shooting, these last, I would say, 2 months. So to hear that they changing a bit more and changing some parts of it up. I heard that they may be also doing something with the ability to get greens, they might be messing around with that. I don't know if 2K is gonna keep it. I know some things they'll mess with. And enough people will complain about it, they'll switch it back.
As far as shooting goes, it doesn't look like too much is going to change. They're probably just going to make it slightly harder this year. That's what it sounds like. It will be slightly harder. But again,
and Pharaoh, so you know a little bit more about the shot meter and the skill stuff that they implemented. Can you inform us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so as far as the shooting goes, Mike Wang had put out a tweet showing a chart, a very interesting chart, showing us that about certain things that might be different as far as a timing impact or shot impact of the sort. They had a shot chart that basically showed the size, the rating requirement, the release height, release speed, the timing impact, and the defensive immunity. And from the list, it looks like the better shooters are obviously going to be on top. Also, the smallest shooters are probably going to have the highest three-pointer off rip anyways, so they have the best rating requirement and whatnot. But there is a interesting thing that you can see with this shot chart if you look at it. As far as these two kind of new things that people didn't really look for last year, or at least not the majority of the community, is timing impact and defensive immunity. Now, if you played 2K and you have shot before, it would make sense to put these factors into play when you're thinking about building a jump shot, because you want to get your shot off faster, and you want to kind of get the best jump shot to basically shoot over a defender. A lot of people back then were like saying shoot over those in 2K19. That's what you want. And looking at this chart, I feel like it may or may not give an advantage to what shots would be good for what build. Like, for example, Kyrie's shot has an A+ time and impact and an A+ defensive immunity. It's a quick shot that apparently doesn't have any defensive problems with. So maybe having Kyrie somewhere in your shot might be a good shot this year. Or maybe it doesn't really matter with that. Maybe it's more release speed and time impact. If that's the case, a shot like Al Horford, where he has quick release speed and his time impact's a B+, so that's not too bad. If you're a big with an 83 3-pointer, you might be greening with Al Horford. Maybe you need to think about having Al Horford shot. So yeah, it's just interesting to see that this shot chart might put a few new ideas, and it might make things fresh as far as shooting goes in the community.
It will definitely change the meta up. I can add on top of that. Like, there's metas for certain jump shots. I don't roll with the meta circles like that, but there's certain releases and jump shots that are known, if you put together, will be green.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was for both current gen and next gen. I think it was like shot 3, set shot 25 that everybody had.
Yeah, so it's definitely gonna change the shooting meta, and that's because now everybody has to kind of, it's like, oh, I can't get this jump shot anymore, so they got to put together jump shots with different players together, depending on whether they're a big forward or a guard. So it definitely, the meta's going to shift probably the first. I mean, most 2Ks when it comes out for the first 2 months, most people can't shoot that well anyway. But after about a month or two, once people get their badges, then we'll really find out if how good shooting is. Because once people get their badges, they start like going crazy. We've seen it. We played against people. I remember one guy shot 10 for 10 from 3. I was like, oh, that's tough. I'm talking about green bean in the face. I'm talking about, I got a 87 perimeter defense, 87 steal, 88 block, still green in my face. The ratings don't matter that much. The badges.
So do you think that with these
new
dunking animations and dunking features and shooting features, it would now create a skill gap between elite players, average players, and below average players?
Yes. But I would say 2K has always had I would also add that I feel like 2K has always had a skill gap, to be honest with you. Like you played it when you played it enough, you played the rec center, you played pro-am, you played part, like you notice the gaps, you'll know right away the gaps between the players you're playing against. It's the only time you don't. I believe it was which 2K was it? It was one 2K where everybody could shoot. I believe it was like you could take a glass cleaner with like a 53-pointer and be greening.
I think you can probably still do that in current gen in general. But yeah, speaking of that, like Mike did, like someone asked on Twitter if you could like shoot with a lower 3-pointer shot. It said about like a 70, and Mike has said that you could, but it determines it's based off of your badges, your shot system and all that.
Now 2K does have a habit where I'm thinking in my head too, because I on my small forward right now, two-way mid-range maestro. By the way, he has an 83 pointer. So when I was looking for jump shots, when I was trying to figure jump shots out, I had to came across YouTube video for a jump shot release 98, 60% Ray Allen, 40% Rudy Gay, and max out the speed on it. It's a YouTube jump shot. I was like, yeah, YouTube jump shots. Some of them might be good, some of them bad. You'll never know. This one I tested out. I was like, oh, green. Let me keep shooting with it. And the biggest thing will always be with shooting will be the mastery of timing. When you can master your timing, you become an absolute menace in 2K. Combined with the badges and the ratings. So like, I feel like there's gonna always be a skill gap, especially when it comes to the shooting. Most definitely.
Speaking of a skill gap, I actually want to ask y'all a question that kind of popped in my head as you were talking about it. Are there any positions you feel have been nerfed or don't get the same amount of opportunities to be great, like the point guard position, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and center? Do you think any of those you can't make let's say a small? Do you think you can make a small forward be elite, or do you think you have to make a shooting guard and make them bigger or a little smaller or whatever to be a threat?
I will say playing players out of position is very it's very meta. It's small forwards I played against that like on the rec. I'm like, nah, he's not a small forward. I can tell he's shooting guard. Higher speed with ball, moving a lot faster than my player. I was like, yeah, he's definitely a shooting guard playing small forward. It's definitely an advantage, I will say. And I also feel like that the small forward position I would say is probably the one that's been hit the most.
I'm glad us small forwards finally get some recognition about how hard it is. I here struggling, fighting for our lives. All right, so we're talking about the skill gap. Somewhere throughout the year, they introduced the real player percentage to be an online feature. How do y'all feel about the real player percentage shot?
You're trash if you have it. You're garbage. You're doo doo. Your butt cheeks. If you put that on.
it's it's to me it's one of those situations kind of like because I use it on the layups. So like on layups I have real player percentage turned on. So for me like the layup timing might be a bit much for me,
Nah,
but
I don't know if real quick percentages on layups. I think it might
it
be.
is. Yeah,
I'm not talking about. You talking about shot
it
timing?
is. Yeah, it's shot.
Yeah, shot time. We're
They
talking
have
real
real
player
player percentage for shot
percentage.
time.
That's something different. That's for
Yeah,
like for
yeah, but
everything.
it's I also say that but yeah, you gotta remember, bro. Like you can still turn on the timing for layups. But what I'm saying with the real player percentage, I'm saying I'm fine with people using it. I don't like it. I would rather you keep the meter on and learn your shots, learn the jump shots, because I feel like you can do more when you learn the shots. With the real player percentage, it's kind of I feel like it's a lot more random of what shots go in and what shots don't, and what shots green, what shots won't. Like you might get like 3 greens in a row, and then you might mess up and catch a pass and try to do a leaning shot. And if you have timing cut on, I feel like you master your jump shot. You learn how to shoot from any which way. You could maybe you could green that, but maybe if you're doing that moving shot, you don't green it with a 20% contest, 10%. The shot contest is also we have to talk about it at some point during this podcast.
Okay, so speaking of shot contests, I will say this about real player percentage. I might be in the minority. I have no issue with someone who chooses to use it. The same way I have no issue with someone who chooses to shoot with their meter or shoot with it off. Because here's what I see it. Shot real player percentage is only really effective if you're open. You From my experience, if you have even a decent amount of coverage on someone who's using real player percentage, they're not hitting that shot. Don't want him to hit a shot, play defense. That's what I say. Now, speaking of the coverage, I don't know what happened. Like, I think somewhere along this season 8, the shot coverage just got bad because I've hit a, a 58% cover. I've had greens when I'm standing under the person. It just seems like this season the shot contest just got bad. Sometimes you won't even be able to put your hands up.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that. I've definitely noticed it with shooting. I've had times like right now. I had, at one point we had one court conqueror. Steve, I know you remember that. Like me, you, and Ray, and we had once we had one court conqueror for like a 30 game stretch. We had skill boost. I recently ran out of boost. I was like, I'm gonna play a couple games without boost. I had back to back two worst shooting games I had I think I've had while playing rec with the squad with the game without boost. And it made me realize I was like maybe I may have to play without boost more often to kind of figure out the jump shot because I'm guessing with the boost must have been a lot like really good. It must have been a really good like boost to the jump shot because I was getting whites, bricks. Oof, it was tough.
I think shooting boost gives you about what 5. I think it is like a +5 maybe. I can't remember off the top of my head, but because it's not just because before it used to be jump shots and it used to break down what the bat like the boosts were for. Now it's kind of all into like one thing, but I think it gives you about +3, +5 attributes, which can be the difference between shooting from an 85 to an 88, and that 80 or 88 and a 91. That's a big difference when you have certain badges equipped. When you have sniper and all this other stuff equipped, that's a big difference.
Especially to contest the contest like you were saying earlier, hand in the man's face. And it's so many times we've seen people shooting people's faces and they said open. And I'm talking about he's in his face. I'm talking about directly in his face, on him tight. Tighter than the spandex on a sumo.
I think the most frustrating aspect of the contest is if you jump. If you jump from like an angle or you jump earlier than their shot, you might not get a contest.
Yeah, I mean the reason why they said it in the courtside report, they said that they basically used a simple shot defensive calculation to look at like 2 points, and the two things they were looking for was the location of the defender when the shot started and how close they were to the ball at release. So, if you like, get close, or if you come up to them like on the side or whatever, even though it doesn't look like it, if they like shoot over you, just like for example, if they start the shot before you even get your hand up, even though it looks pretty good, it's going to seem like it's going to be an open shot because it wasn't in that simple calculation of where the shot started and where you are when the ball releases. Like even though it's like a late jump per se, it's just not gonna register.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. But as someone who played basketball, even if I jump early, that my presence is still going to disrupt your jump shot a little bit on the slightest amount. But the contest system is definitely something to be fixed. But I do understand that it's a video game. Because I remember before we got on the podcast, Mike said he wanted to talk about simulation versus what? Arcade. If you want a realistic game, understand professional players hit over defenders all the time. But at the same token, professional players aren't shooting 60 something percent from the 3 point line, 60 something percent from the field. So there's a give and take. So with that, would you think 2K would be better if it was a more simulation game or competitive or however you want to like read it or arcadey?
I feel like the answer excuse me, the answer you'll be looking for is a balance. If you want a straight up arcade game, it would have to be an entirely separate game. But now I'm the balance is what people want.
Yeah. I mean, I think the hardest thing with it would be if you balance something, but depending on the feedback you receive, because like we know 2K, we know EA, we know these gaming companies where like they may balance something really well. Like you may be like, okay, they balance that pretty well. People won't be so overpowered, but next thing you know, people are so used to certain privileges of being able to do certain things. Like when you have to guard left right cheesers with the dribble moves. I believe 2K attempted to fix it on next gen this year at one point, trying to stop left right. And I don't know if they rolled it back or if it never worked. It doesn't seem like it worked. Left right seems like it's still the meta in terms of dribbling. But how much can they balance that? Just between simulation and arcade, it's still a video game like Steve said. Making it super realistic may take the fun out of the game. I feel like to some extent.
I do believe there's some balance within the game because we only play rec, so we only see one aspect of wrecking part. So we do only see one aspect of the game. I think y'all try to play that one pro game. The timing in pro game is a little different. I want to say is on Superstar maybe. I'm not 100% sure, but I just know the timing is so different. It's not so different, but it's so the timing of your jump shot is so small to where like the difference is so small that it completely changes how you read your jumper. Because what do you call it? Rhythm shoot. I don't look at my player. I just know about when to let go of the ball because I'm used to doing it. So I do think there's some balance. It's just spread out throughout the game. Like for pro-am, it's a little bit more competitive. People run zones. People shoot deeper, but that's where more of the cheese is. You come to the rec, you get a little less cheese, but you get a little bit more of an arcadey feel because now you're hitting with people underneath you. You're shooting over top of, or just you have more randomness in the rec center, and then the park is even worse because it's meant to have fun. That's what the park is for. And then you have my team, and you have stuff like Play Now. So I don't want to say it's perfectly balanced because it's not. It's a very offensively heavy game, just like the NBA is. But in the totality, I do believe it's a little bit more balanced than we give it credit for because we only see one part of the game.
I mean, I give it credit because I mean you're right about seeing one part of the game. Yeah, definitely things like my team and rec. I mean not rec. My team and park. Those are definitely the more arcadey versions of 2K for sure. And like you were saying, pro am and I guess you can say a little bit of rec. Maybe you could say Play Now, but I'm not sure. But they'll definitely kind of gear more towards simulation. It does seem like ever since they implemented the My Career in general, once that started getting big, they started sectioning off their games and basically building like 2 or 3 different versions of the same game.
I do believe that each mode has gone through phases. Like when 2K first introduced the my player, I think came out with 2K10. I want to say with Kobe on the front. It was very. If you were a 99, you were a 99.
Yeah, of course. Because back then they put you at like anywhere between like 36 and 42, depending on what you pick to start off.
And then throughout the years, they introduced the my park and I want to say 2K14. So when that became the park became a very big big thing. So they focused on the park. And now it's become the My Team League because, with the 2K League and everything. And that's just how they make their money. Everyone's investing into it with trying to get pets and everything. So their focus is on the game is like switching. It's from what I'm seeing. Like the best parts of like for us is the my player, my career, but that's not really their focus as much as the my team and the part. So they just try to make it fun, but it's kind of how fun when you got 5 people on the court, you got 10 people on the court at the same time.
What I'm very excited for, well, um, I roll back my excitement because I want to see how they follow through on it. But this the tiered the badge system with some of these changes he's making, with maybe all the badges not being available to every player, I definitely want to see how this works in practice. Because this may also put certain builds. Certain builds will rise to the top, while other builds may fall out of favor. I'm looking at it right now. It's very I'm wondering how it's gonna play out.
Yeah, as far as the okay, yeah, as far as the badges, when they talk about the new tier system, I am kind of you know, interested in what they mean by that. Because then they technically have a tier system for their badges with like bronze, silver, gold, and Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but I think with this year, I like what they're introducing is you have to get some badges to get higher tier versions of other badges. Like you have to have a certain amount of bronze for this badge to get this badge to be gold or whatever. So now you have to pick and choose what badges you want more, like more discreetly.
I mean, they might take away that altogether, like the bronze, silver, and gold, and whatever. Because if it's in a tier system, it would kind of be redundant to have different colors of that badges. You know.
It's definitely gonna be a learning curve too, because I certain badges have become very like key to certain builds. Like when you made an undersized guard, like I would say around like 5'10", between like 5'10" and maybe even up to like 6'1", 6'2". Mismatch expert is a badge that was seen on a lot of builds at that height, and I'm wondering, is that gone? I
So instead of shooting over big men, you'll blow past big guys, which makes sense. Uh, hmm Yeah, which makes sense. But I could already from playing 2K, I could already see that becoming uh was a speed boost thing.
So wait, if you combine that with quick first step, if quick first step is still in the game, that might be a problem for the foreseeable future.
I don't.
If quick first step is still in the game,
I don't. If it is, it probably got renamed.
Mhm. They definitely they definitely added some new badges. Well, okay. Here's the thing when it comes to 2K. 2K will rewrite the same badge. I'm like some of these like the difference between clamps and menace or on ball defender is they're the same thing essentially.
it used to be. I believe at one point clamps was had the same effect as both badges put together. They just separate.
Yeah, no, yeah, they'll make a lot of redundant badges. But I mean, looking at the badge list for like all their tiers, it does not look like a lot of badges. So maybe there isn't a redundancy anymore. This tier system might make a lot more sense. Like it would be easy to understand, but maybe hard to master.
Okay, I'm gonna throw a bit of speculation in. We may be reaching an area of something. It's gonna be a very different game when we get our hands on it, obviously. But we may be running into a wall with 2K, I believe, that may. Well, yeah, but I mean in the sense as pulling the badges out. That changes the meta. Changing these jump shots at the same time, putting them behind height, weight, and jump shot requirements. So like, is 2K is 2K doing this to combat cheese directly?
I feel like maybe it's part of that, but it also could be just to get uh more variety out there. Because I mean, like you were saying earlier, you went to YouTube to look up a good jump shot. I feel like they might be trying to limit that, so like everyone's not the same player with the same jump shot, same dribble animations, same dunk animations. They're trying their best to try to make everyone as individualized as possible.
I think the issue with a sports game, especially a game like 2K, is that with such a big community, people are, like, it's the same thing with any game. They're going to try to find the easiest way to, make themselves effective. So if this works, why fix what's not broken? Like, remember 2K21 on next gen, pretty much everyone was power forwards because a power forward was pretty much a point guard at that point. 2K, I feel like 2K tries to fight cheese and such like that, but at the same time they do kind of listen to the community. We're not really heavy into like Twitter and their discourse and stuff like that, but if you actually look at what people say, because I'm in a Facebook 2K group chat, and if you actually look at what people say, 2K actually does follow a lot of what people ask for. To maybe not to the way that they thought they were gonna get it, but YouTubers and the community kind of broke the game, and then they complain about the system in which they created. They wanted dribble guys, and guess what? Everyone can't be a dribble guy because that's a skill. That's a skill in its own. Everyone can't be a lockdown. That's a skill in its own. Everybody can't be LeBron James. Everybody can't be James Harden. Sometimes you gotta be Sean Livingston. Sometimes you gotta be Patty Mills. There's nothing wrong with it. That's just kind of, and what 2K try to do is they try to make it balanced for everybody, but the cheeses are going to find a way to cheese, so they try to combat it. So I do believe the badge system and the stuff that they got going on now is to try to combat that, but the same way they tried to stop left right, what they did? They found another way to do it.
Yeah, it's because it's got me. I'm thinking. I'm like another thing. 2K hasn't addressed the rec center in terms of 2-3 zone. Most five stacks that go into the rec center slide right into a 2-3 zone.
It's because it's what a lot of them do in pro am, and rec is nothing but what is how do I say it? If you want, or it's for like people who don't want nothing too serious. You kind of want a casual gameplay versus competitive. That's pretty much what it is. And the same way, you go to like the YMCA or go outside and copy like the play style of the NBA. The rec center does the same thing with pro am. But like I said, not everyone can play in a pro am setting, so they go into the rec center. But they found a system that works because 2-3 is a good system because you can defend the three. You can play passing lanes. You can do a lot of stuff in a 2-3 that wouldn't normally work in the NBA, like in a real life situation.
Um, I was thinking like in a. Also, I wanted to add. We got to talk about the under the basket with 2K. So I believe it's been a couple 2Ks since they talked about it, but I remember them when they were talking about it because it goes back to our shot contest situation earlier. So like under the basket, if you get pushed under the basket enough, your contest will go from a certain percentage to an automatic layup or dunk. You lose basically most of your contests. Do y'all think maybe 2K should analyze that a bit more, or do you believe it's good the way it is now?
With their the new dunking and like finishing the new dunking and finishing like animations, all that they're talking about, because they have new things for offense and defense, like flyby dunks and whatnot.
They did say that they did say that they boosted the under the basket like defense. So got to see what happens. But the rinse and repeat of 2K. The first couple weeks of 2K is going to be a defensive game. The people who are heavily offensive minded, they're going to complain. 2K is going to knock down the defense. Stuff like that. It's just the basics of 2K because of the community. People don't like not being able to score. Sometimes you overdo it because I remember one year Kyle Korver was pretty much Kawhi Leonard, and I'm like, all right, you're doing a little too much. But fact of the matter is that you should be able to play. You should be able to play some defense.
Yeah, we didn't talk about it, but one thing that also contributes to the shot contest system is sometimes this year they would let you in 22. They wouldn't let you run out to your defender, like close out to your defender sometimes.
Now they kind of got that animation where if your hands are already up and they go to shoot, you'll close out a little bit, but you kind of gotta already be there. And my issue with the way that defense is set up is that if I want to like sit on a defender, because we were talking about it with Dan, the best way to do it is to put your hands up. But I'm like, L2 has always been like an intense defensive stance. You square your hips, get your arms out, hands up. But with the left-right, it prevents you from being able to do stuff like that. So I'm like, because you're if they just incorporated a way for us to left right like a someone on offense, could they stop go I mean I get defense is always like a step slower because that's just how defense is, but as a defender I should be able to put you where I want you sometimes. Like, okay, I'm taking away this, that doesn't mean that you can crab your way out of it. Like, oh, I've taken away your left hand, you keep running this way, the ball should come out your hands. You shouldn't be able to dribble, and now I'm crab, which essentially just means you stick you get in front of me, and I can't, and now I can't defend because you're in front of me. But y'all seen that block from Ginobili to James Harden? It was like a game-winning shot. James Harden tried to go for it, and Ginobili got the block from behind. We should be able to do that too.
Oh yeah, the height difference definitely should be. I mean, obviously they're putting it into the jump shooting, but in terms of like the defensive contest, if you're taking that jump shot, and if you're taking a jump shot in front of a 7-footer that's launching at you, and some jump shots are quick enough to where they can get off, but more than likely if he's extremely close, like I'm talking about close enough to where he can swat it, more than likely it's getting sent to hell.
I mean, it can happen even now.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, get the timing right, but I know what you're talking about though, Mike.
I know what span that I think 2K should implement a shot contest thing. Because you have on-ball defense and you have steal, right? No. Okay, you got perimeter defense, you have steal, you have blocks, right? They should implement a shot contest like defensive thing. Because being able to get a block doesn't necessarily mean you can get you can contest a shot well.
Oh, what, Steve, about that, because I remember this was about one or two 2Ks ago. They had a lot of it. They had implemented. They had put multiple ratings together. Close shot. They did it with close shot. Close shot is also not just close shot. It's also your standing layup rating. And they did it on defense. The perimeter defense and the interior defense ratings are your shot contest ratings, whereas the block category is its own category. So like, when you were speaking to me when I was making my building, you said just put interior on 25 and put your block up instead. Was actually a very, very beneficial thing that I didn't have to waste points on the interior defense. My shot contesting in the paint is not that good, but jumping with my block rating combined with intimidator and rim protector, I can still get decent animations.
But with me, someone who has a 70 interior defense, it helps with like the reason I don't like that notion is because that only really helps if you're in a position to get it, right? Like if you're backing me down, I have a better chance of going straight up because I have a high enough interior defense, but you just having a block, you kind of gotta you kind of you kind of gotta come off of him a little bit. Like you kind of gotta get away so you can get that jump. But I also have like a 90 something vert, so that helps. But that's why I feel like that 2K should just give you free range of all your attributes, and don't let them be heavily penalized either. Okay, so you have your 3 point shot, right? You have your 3 point, you have your mid range, you have your close. Okay, let's do more for defense because that's really what it comes down to. Okay, actually, because you have driving layup, right? You have driving dunk. Then you have inside layup. Then you have like inside like standing dunk or stuff like shot close doesn't necessarily. Then you have standing dunk. For defense, you should have perimeter defense. Then you should have steal. You should have blocks. You should have shot contest. You should have quickness. Like you should have that's more of a physical thing. You should have more free range, and I do believe that 2K should implement tendencies also because like when you're I don't know if y'all have ever done it like when you're playing play now and you go make a player, you can change their tendencies. Like sometimes you get stuck into a layup animation when you want to dunk because your player just has the tendency to do a layup.
Yeah, I mean that might go back into the. It kind of goes into like the.
That shouldn't cost you anything. That should just kind of be like 2K has like the shot meter and stuff like that. It should go to that. Like you should be able to custom. You should custom.
Like the older 2Ks for sure, you had a lot more individualized things like 2K10, 2K11, 2K12. You could customize almost everything. That's why your play was so low because you can literally touch almost everything. But I think the reason why they took that out is so that things can be more streamlined for everyone.
I was thinking they had took it out because I remember at one point back it was like 2K. I believe it was 2K17 when they had changed the builder towards it went from more like all around builds to specific builds, as in like paint protector, lockdown defender. Like they had the specific builds that you could pick a specific one that specialized in one area and kind of was like average at everything else. Segue into 2K18, they had given us two of those. You could pick two different categories that you wanted to your main category and your secondary category. Fast forward to 2K20, I believe it was 2K20. They had switched it from 2 to pie charts, which kind of I guess went back more towards the older 2Ks, where you customize a bit more. You can pick you can combine and pick attributes. 2K21, 2K22 you've been able to pick the attributes based off caps they give you, but you can go as far as you want to go in a lot of the ratings. I believe recently like this new 2K builder from 22, I believe this may be the best builder I've ever like sat in and actually like put builds together.
Oh yeah, like I really do like this builder compared to the other ones because the other ones it was kind of restricting, and this one is still like sort of restricting. You can't literally do everything, but get decently a lot more freedom than you did previous ones. So I'm glad that it seems like they're still kind of keeping this. That's what it seems like. We might have to wait like a week or two to find out if they are, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna pretty much keep it just like updated.
Yeah, most definitely, man. It's mm, that builder is pretty. It's pretty good. It's I don't know what their plan is, far as balance goes with the builder, because a lot of it is based off like your height, your weight, the wingspan that you pick, and even the position. When you play out of position, like if you make a 6'8", 200-pound shooting guard, you're gonna get different stats. Even if you put the same stats exactly as a small forward, you're gonna get a different. You're gonna get different stats caps maybe for certain positions. Like the shooting guard may not get that 88 block that I was talking about earlier that the small forward would get. He may be stopped at, I believe it was like 86 when I was messing with the builder. Like it's a couple of points. It don't seem like a lot, but in those crucial moments when you're trying to get certain badges to put on the build, the ratings mean like 5 points could be the difference between Hall of Fame pickpocket and gold pickpocket. And we all know the Hall of Fame badges. If you can get those badges are supposed to be more effective than the gold badges. But there are some badges in the game that they're good on gold, and you put them on Hall of Fame, it's kind of overkill. Ain't no point in really putting it up there. You can honestly take it off and put them points somewhere else. I would argue.
I think next gen's little player builders is pretty solid, and I like that they implemented the rebirth system. But this might just mean being a little greedy. I kind of wish 2K would have a one time rebuild. Cause when everybody made their build in the beginning, you might look out, make a solid build, you might not. But because I've like kind of remade my build before and made them even a little better, knowing that I didn't need like because I was kind of just making my build and I went about my day. I put points towards stuff I didn't need it to. So a one time rebuild like rebuild, especially if it's in the beginning, you should be allowed to make a rebuild.
Yeah, I wish if their servers were better, that you could take a build you just made to like a park or a rec or a pro am scenario and try like a game or two out to see, will that actually work. But I feel like that's a lot of technology they don't have yet.
Oh, you're talking about like how they have the prelude, but it'd be online, like the
Yeah, no, you know how you're making your build, like the creator builder where you're playing against the computer.
uh, but it'd be online.
Yeah. That
Yeah, honestly, I the reason why I don't see them doing that is because
it's too much money. They don't have I don't think they have the technology yet.
not even necessarily too much money. Is if they did that, for what reason? For what reason do I even need to make a build? Just okay. Every time I want to start a game, I just go ahead and
Well, it does. The reason why I say do it that way is just to test it out. Like it doesn't count towards anything.
Oh, so it's just
Yeah, you just do it to test it out because I feel like it'll give you a more accurate reading to go in and test out, this player that you might want to have at like certain things like an 85. You can try him 85. You can try him at like 95 and 99. It helps you. It gives you a more accurate reading because playing against the computer versus playing people are a lot different. You can make a build that'll probably kill the computer, but when you get to that rec center or the park or pro am, it might not be that good. So that that's what I was saying as far as being able to test the build out online.
Yeah, that's definitely what you just said there, Amp, is that's very important when it comes to building. I'll stress to the people we're talking to right now. When y'all building teams, balance is very important. there are times where you have five shooters, fourth and the fifth shooting big. You can get really nasty, but there are times I believe like you want a well balanced lineup, as balanced as possible. Maybe not so much as in terms of both bigs on the team need to be post scorers. No, that's not. They don't need to be. That's not enough space on the court for that. I mean, you can make it work, but it'll be some work you had to put together. Yeah, yeah. Your team setup is very important. If all five of y'all can't dribble the ball at the same time, all five of y'all can't. I mean, technically, all five of y'all can't shoot the ball at the same time, in a weird way. But balance is very important. I feel like a couple of y'all at least need to be able to slash. Like one or two of y'all definitely got to have some defense, because the way the perimeter defense on 2K works with the screens, segue into the screens, and I don't know if 2K will ever implement this, but I would love for them to implement when you go over the screen. Like Steve, back to when you said about left and right earlier too. Imagine being able to pick which side of the screen when you go over or under. Like you decide that you want to be on exactly, if you know what I'm saying. Like if you wanted to, let's say Steve, you wanted to blow the screen up to get over because he's a shooter. Maybe you can take the right stick before the screen hits you, press it down, and roll it to left or right depending on the side that he's going. Now this also could segue into like maybe an ankle breaking animation. Maybe you choose the right way, but maybe he hits you with the crossover at the exact time of the pick hits you. And I'm thinking a lot in my head, but they could definitely go further with some of the other systems in the game to make the game better.
I might just not know how to do it, but I do believe 2K should implement a way to pick how you want how you want to hedge your screen. If you want to do a soft hedge, hard hedge. Essentially, do you want to go over the screen or go beneath it? So I'm like, if we wanted to like jump the screen to take away a three or drop the defender paint, we should be able to.
Yeah, and then I mean it's on top of that adding in now. See this, they changing the badge system, but like with that in mind, the badge system, certain badges are not what they used to be, and we definitely gonna talk more about this in the future podcasts. Uh, Brick wall. Now brick wall, they took Bruiser and brick wall and they put them together. So like brick wall helps in terms of paint defense in the post. It also used to be one of the best screening badges in the game, but screens have become overpowered at one point. Hall of Fame brick wall at one point. If you touch that screen at all, your life was canceled. Like the angle that you get hit by the screen sometimes didn't even matter. You got sucked right into it. That 2K has addressed it to where it's not as bad as as it used to be, but it's also made brick wall kind of a shell of what it was. It's like having Hall of Fame brick wall outside of paint defense has become very kind of like meh. Like it's okay, not a bad badge. But sometimes you may feel like you don't even need it on Hall of Fame. You might just stop it at gold and put them 2 points elsewhere.
It's possible you could do that, but I think it is good that they did kind of tweaked it in that aspect of not only putting on both offense and defense, but also not letting them suck it in, like you said just now. I don't think it's that bad of a change.
So it looks like we're kind of coming to the end of this episode. Is there any final thoughts for 2K in the futures, or any last words y'all have?
Yeah, Jordan challenges would probably be cool. I swear to you, if they literally just take the same challenges from 2K11, boy.
I think that would give it a nice nostalgic feel.
Yeah, it's definitely some nostalgia with it. I will also say it's interesting to see the balance of 2K going forward, and maybe one day will we see a contender come back. NBA Live, we have not. I don't. I've heard no words on it. It's been, I believe, coming on 4 years now. I believe the last live was Live 19, right? It is EA making a comeback with NBA Live? They hired what was what was his name again? He was a very important 2K developer that they had hired over to bring as a one of their main developers at EA.
All right, well, this is We3's podcast, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.
See.
Peace.
Peace out.